Good morning. I wrote the chapter 5 formulas so you could have them all together. You could take a picture of them or write them or go back on later because I'll upload the video. Any questions so far? For the final comparison right here. There's 8 questions on the final. And you can take it any one of these 5 times. I've had a lot of students who aren't taking the final. Let me flip this a second. Who haven't taken the final on the time it's given. So I wanted to give more times because I know people work and it's summer. Also, if you had more than one class, then you don't have to take it on the last day of class. You could take it before that and get it done. So it's up to you. If you cannot make it at one of these times, please get with me. I cannot accept anything after Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Any questions on that? So these are the formulas. For those who are just coming in, you could take a picture of it, but I am recording it so then you can bring it up and hit pause. But today I wanted to go over, because we finished everything we're going to cover in chapter 5. I wanted to go over the MyMathLab homework. There's 20 questions to make sure you understand them. There is 3 of them on the final. On as you learn, there's a review for the final, which we'll go over tomorrow. There's 5 problems from the previous exams and then 3 from chapter 5. I recommend trying them before tomorrow so then you know where you have questions and we can do more problems on those areas. So this is on MyMathLab. This is your chapter 5. I just printed it. You can always print them and work them out. Also, if you get things correct, you still can try another. It will not take any points away from you if you miss it, but it gives you more practice. Find the simple interest on 32,400 at 7.25% for 165 days. Assume now sometimes they'll change the number of days. But if it doesn't state that, you assume 365. And the simple interest, I equals PRT. P is the starting amount, R is the rate as a decimal, and T is time in years. And I is the interest. Principal is your starting amount, which is 32,400. Seven and a quarter percent, you need to write it as a decimal. To write it as a decimal, you move it 2 to the left or divide by 100. And then time. Time was 169 days. But time is in years, so that would be 169 out of 360. Any questions on that? Says round to the nearest cent. $1,102.73. Is that what everyone got? And they did just want the interest. Any questions? Okay, go ahead and try the next one. This down a little. For a 2-year bond of 2,300 at a simple interest rate 11% per year, find the semi-annual interest payment and the total interest earned over the life of the bond. So they just want the interest again. For semi-annual interest, semi is halfway through the year or twice a year. So time would be 1/2. So semi-annual payments of $126.50. The second part, total interest of the bond. The total interest of the bond would be however long it is. And it's 2 years, so instead of half, we will put it 2. Any questions on that one? Okay, go ahead and find number 3. Now it's still simple interest unless they state otherwise. And notice they want the future value, so they don't want the interest. You can do it 2 ways. You could find the interest and add the principal, or you can use this formula. You're getting 11,840 and 52 cents. It's 17. Any questions on that? And the present value for the given future value. So the 70,000 is your A. So let's see, what did I give us? Yeah, we'd have to use this one. There's no way of finding the interest without the principal, so we'd have to use this one. Clicking it in, should have gotten this. 8% written as a decimal, 13 months is 13/12 of a year. And we want to get P by itself, so we would divide by this quantity. Well, this one says round to the nearest dollar, so instead of rounding to the nearest cent. Most of them say round to the nearest cent, but this one said dollar. Any questions on that one? Oh. Go ahead and try number 5. Now you want to be careful on these ones. It's saying find the price of the T-bill, so that would be what it would cost now. The 15,000 is what you make in the end. So it's for 6 months and you make $15,000 at this rate. You know the future value is 15,000. We're looking for P. Our rate is as a decimal point 0.0514, and our time is 6 months, so 6/12. 1/2, however you want to write it. This time I calculated inside the parentheses because it was a terminating decimal, but you could have kept the whole part and then divide. Round to the nearest dollar. 14624. Wait, I think I might have typed something in wrong because they have a different number. 15,000 for 6 months. Hmm. 1 plus 0.014. No. That's what I got. Any questions on that one? Is that what everyone got? And then the actual interest rate. Interest. We'd have to take the future value and subtract the principal. And then $376 for the interest. Oh, they wanted the interest rate. This would be the interest. Here they want the interest rate. The actual interest rate paid by the treasurer. Hmm. Not sure what they mean on that one. It must be this discount rate that's making it different. I'm gonna just omit this problem. I think the discount rate is what's making it different, and that's why my answer is $10 on. So don't worry about number 5. Number 6. The following certificate of deposit was released from a particular bank. Find the compound amount and the amount of interest. So this one's compounded. And we need the compounded amount and the interest. Compounded amount is this formula. We are looking for the total at the end. That's the compounded amount, which is your A. Starting amount over here. 5,000. Our rate is a decimal. Be careful. That's the percent, so you need to move the decimal too. M is the number of times it's compounded. Semi-annually would be a 2. And time, 3 years. $5,113.56. So that's the compounded amount. But you also need the interest. How would we find the interest? Think about it. If you made, in the end, you had $5,113 and you put in 5,000, subtract them, you made 113. And this one wanted round to the nearest cent. Any questions on that? Number 7. So this is similar to the last one. And round to the nearest cent. I'm getting $4,836 and some cents. P is the starting amount, 2,500. 1 plus your rate as a decimal. Divided by quarterly is 4 times. And then 4 times 9. That's your compounded amount. And then subtract the interest. When we subtract the starting amount, we get the interest. Any questions? You go ahead and try number 8. Gift of 6,000 to a city bridge of 8,000. So it's compounded annually. And we're finding the interest rate to the nearest hundredth. There'll definitely be something like this on the test. We're trying to get R by itself. So we need to get rid of the 6,000. You cannot distribute it in because of this 200. So you have to divide it. I'm just gonna reduce the zeros. So I have 8,000 over 6. Any questions so far? Next, I need to get rid of that exponent. And remember, when you have an exponent, you can take it to its reciprocal. Because then that's just 1. They cancel each other. And what you do to one side, you have to do the other. And then just subtract the 1. Any questions on getting the decimal? No, it said to round percent to 100. We need to make it a percent first. So it would be here. And this is the 10th, the 100th, it would be the second 6. It'll stay a 3.66%. You'll definitely see one of those on the exam. Any questions on it? Number 9. Find the compounded amount and the amount of interest earned for the following deposit. 7,000 at 3.83% compounded continuously for 2 years. Continuously, A equals PE to the RT. Go ahead and find the compounded amount. Plugging it in, the starting amount was 7,000, e to the 0.0383 times 2. And you should get 7,557.27, and it says round to the nearest cent. That would be our compounded amount. The interest, we would just subtract what we started with. So our first part, our compounded amount was $7,557.27. Subtracting the starting amount, that meant we made $557.27 in interest. Any questions on that one? Find the compounded amount and the amount of interest earned, 8,000 at 5.97%, compounded continuously, again, 2 years. Okay, go ahead and find that one. If you want the 2 extra credit points, you could type your answers into your chat. I will give a maximum of 6 points. But even if it's wrong, I will give you the 2 points for trying. Where's this? Number 10. If anyone wants to type it in before I do the answer. Yeah. We're depositing 8,000, compounded continuously, the rate as a decimal, 0.0597 times the number of years, which was 2. And we get 9,014.56. This would be our compounded amount. And the interest, subtract the 8,000 we started with. Any questions? APY, annual percentage yield. It is the same thing as effective rate. And for compounded amounts, 1 plus R over M to the M minus 1. Type an integer or a decimal round to the nearest hundredth. So it's 1 plus our rate is a decimal. Compounding quarterly is 4. And then plug it in. They got 3.03. So she had 0.030333919. Now we have to write it as a percent. So you multiply by 100. And then they said round to the hundredth. So it'd be here. 10th hundredth. 3.03%. Any questions on that one? There's definitely one on the exam where you find it for a compounded and then you find it for quarterly, continuously. Okay, go ahead and try number 12. Excuse me. Make it a percent. Round 10th hundredth. 5.09%. Any questions on that? Okay, number 13, find the present value for the following future value. And it's compounded annually, which means it's a compounded amount. So having them written out like this will help. That way, simple interest, you know you're using this. Compounded amount, compounded continuously, and then APY or effective rate, it uses these two, but that way you can find the keywords and go right to whichever one you need. So compounded amount was this one. We're looking for present value. This is the future value. R is a decimal 7%, 0.07 compounded annually. Annually is once a year for 25 years. Now, since this is a 1, this adds nice 1.07 to the 25th. I don't know if we want to write that out though. Yeah. We want to divide by this to get P by itself. Round to the nearest cent, and this would be our present value. Any questions on it? Number 14. An investment company pays 9% compounded semi-annually. You want to have 23,000 in the future. How much should you deposit now? To have it in 5 years and then 10 years. So this is what we need in the future. It's compounded. So again, it's using the same formula. Go ahead and find the 5 years. Round to the nearest cent, are you getting $14,810.34? That would be for the first one because it was 5 years. This one wants 10 years, and that's why I just wrote it like this, because then you just change your 5 to a 10. This is 14. Any questions on that one? Number 15. A small business borrows 22,000 for expansion at 11% compounded monthly. The loan is due in 9 years. How much interest will the business pay? When you're borrowing, that's what you owe. That's the present value. Compounded monthly. Yep. So go ahead and find it. And it says round to the nearest cent. This is the amount they pay at the end of 9 years. They will have paid this much money. Go back and look. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the interest. So we found the compounded amount. We need to subtract the cost of the item. That's how much you paid in interest. More than the item was originally. Any questions on that? So once you get an answer, always go back and check that that's what they were looking for. This is the compounded amount. So the total they'll pay for the loan. Subtract what they owed, and that gives you the interest. Or borrowed. Any questions on that? I'd try 16. Two partners agree to invest equal amounts in their business. One will contribute 10,000 immediately. The other plans to contribute an equivalent amount in 6 years. How much should she contribute at that time to match her partner's investment now, assuming an investment rate of 4% compounded semi-annually? Compounded semi-annually, A equals P times 1 plus R over M to the MT. Her partner is contributing $10,000. So at the end, she needs $10,000. It says, how much should she contribute at? Oh, wait. I read it wrong. How much should she contribute at that time to match her partner's investment now? So her partner is investing 10,000. And they want to know how much should she contribute 6 years later. So he's taking $10,000, putting it into an account at 4%, compounded semi-annually for 6 years. In 6 years, she's going to deposit or contribute the same amount as what he will have made in interest. So they want the amount, the compounded amount. Any questions on that? So always read it twice. I usually read it and then I go through and find numbers. And then I think about what answer I would get and I read it again. Especially one like this. Look at it. In 6 years, his $10,000 would have increased to 126,824. 26.8. Mine is a little off. I think I didn't put 10,000. I put too many zeros. Let me make sure. Yeah. I had 100,000 for some reason. 12682. There we go, that looks better. I knew it looked too large, but always write down what you're going to plug in. So then if you do enter something wrong, I know you knew how to do it. You just made a careless mistake. So always write that out. Is everyone getting $12,682? Any questions on that? Number 17. Bank One offered a 16-year certificate of deposit at 4.35% interest compounded quarterly. I'm gonna underline that. On the same day on the internet, First Bank offered a 16-year CD, 4.3% compounded monthly. Find the APY, annual percentage yield, effective rate for each CD. Which bank paid a higher APY? 1 plus R over M to the M minus 1. Okay, go ahead and find both of them. It says type an integer or decimal, round 3 decimal places, and they want the percent. So make it a percent first and then round 3 decimal places. Bank. Are you getting for Bank One 4.421? That means 4.35% quarterly is approximately 4.421% annually. Any questions? First Bank was 0.434 compounded monthly. Change it to a decimal. 1, 2, 3, go 3 decimal places. 4.427%. So even though it's not a big difference, First Bank has the better rate. Now, if you're leaving it in there for a long time, then it does make a difference, but a year or two is not. Oh, it's a 16-year certificate, so it could make a difference. Any questions on, I think there's one more part. Which bank is higher? First Bank. Any questions on that? Number 18, the average rate, annual inflation rate of 4.9%. About how long would it take the general level of prices in the economy to double? So we want to see how long it takes to double our money. Annual inflation means an annual compounding. So M would be 1, and we wanted to know, this is our rate, how long it takes to double. So we're looking for T. Round to the nearest whole number. Notice it says do not round till the end. So don't use any decimal, use the whole thing in your calculator. If you want your money to double, notice they didn't give us amount. You can use whatever you want. I like to use 1 doubled would be 2. Rate as a decimal, compounded annually. Oh, we're looking for T. Remember when your variable's in the exponent, we can take the natural log of both sides. You definitely see a doubling problem. And then the T can be brought down in front. And divide by the natural log. I'm getting 14.4896. It said round to the whole number, so 14 years. Any questions on that one? Okay, go ahead and try number 19. This one also says round to the whole number. Plugging it in, we want our money to double, so I used a 1 and a 2. You can use anything, 10, 20, 5, 10, as long as it's double. If you use anything other than 1, though, you need to oh, I'm sorry, divide to get rid of it. Let me see for the next one. Yeah, we can do it on the next one. To bring the exponent down, we take the natural log. And then divide by the natural log to get t by itself. Getting the answer key says 54. Natural log of 2, natural log. Yep. I get 53.6648 and so on. It said round to the whole number, so 54 years. Any questions on that? Number 20. Go ahead and try number 20. Now, if you did use something other than 1 and 2, so say we used 100 and 200. Whoops, put the rest in there. No, the reason I use 200 is because it needs to double. The rate as a decimal, 0.049 per year. And we're looking for t. So if you didn't use 1 and 2, or if they gave you a number and said it doubled, you just divide by that 100 or whatever this one is, and you're going to get a 2. So you're still going to get that 2 there. And then we're going to take the natural log so we can bring the variable down. And divide by that natural log. Round to the nearest 10th, 14.5 years. Any questions on that? Positive. Okay. that's everything I have for today. I'm gonna give you time to go work on anything you're behind on. So everything has to be done by next Tuesday, which is the 8th at 11:59 p.m. I cannot take anything after that. Tomorrow we'll review for the exam. There's a finance project up there. Let me show you how to use the formula. This one is not on the discussion board. It's just turn it in like you would your test. I didn't make, oh, there, no. There it goes. So you are buying a car. Actually, you're going to pick out 2 cars. But here's the formula for monthly payment. Say the car you picked was, I don't know, $25,000. And maybe the interest rate is 5.2%. So 5.2%. Most will be monthly, and most are 5 years. Now, if you find something different than that, that's fine. Here, let me write the formula down first, so then I can write. Okay, this says number of periods. That's number of years. Payments per period. That would be 12 because it's monthly. So say, I think I said 25,000. Say the car costs 25,000, the rate as a decimal monthly would be 12. 1 minus 1 plus 0.052 divided by 12. Now in the exponent, it's a negative 12 times the number of years, which was 5. And please try entering it in your calculator. I do recommend doing top and bottom separate and then dividing them. But it's up to you. Now that 3 keeps going, but my calculator has 7 of them. That's just the top. Make sure this is a negative up here, not a minus. Negative 1 times 4. So it's gonna be $474 payments. Now, there are also programs that will find the payment for you. But I think it's good to learn that. I think it's something business-wise you may need. And so that's the formula to find your payment. Any questions on that? Some are interest-free, but you still could find your payments. I don't know if they have any interest-free right now. My car is interest-free, but it's almost paid up. Any questions? Positive. The last project, if you haven't completed it, I did extend the date till next Tuesday. If there's anything you're missing, get it in. If you haven't gotten with me, I think 2 people didn't get with me about making up the exam. But everyone is on track to pass. As long as, well, if you're missing the last exam, you have to get that done, but any questions? Okay, if you do not have any questions, I will see you tomorrow.